Having completed chapter 2, Sankya Yoga, we next move to Tritiyodhyaya, chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Now, in this chapter, that is chapter 3, Sri Krishna offers guidance on how to lead a fulfilling life by performing action without attachment. Now, this Karma Yoga Adhyaya also explores the importance of selfless action and duty. So, let's move to the first shloka. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhi janardana tatkim karmani gore mam niyojayasi keshava. Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna spoke thus, Janardana, O Krishna, karmanaha buddhihi jayase. Knowledge is superior to action. Te mata chet, if this be your view or if this is your opinion, that is, knowledge is superior to action, if this is your opinion, Keshava, tat mam gore karmani kim niyojayasi. O Keshava, tat then mam gore karmani kim niyojayasi, then why do you engage me? Why do you ask me to do this terrible action? In this place, action, terrible action refers to the ghastly war. So, in this shloka, Arjuna conveys his confusion to Lord Krishna. Earlier in the second chapter, Sri Krishna elaborately explained the Sankya Yoga, wherein he talks about the eternal characteristics of the Atma. Then he talks about the Buddhi Yoga. In the 49th shloka of chapter 2, Sri Krishna tells, Dure nahi avaram karma buddhi yogat dhananjaya. The meaning of this is that our action with a selfish motive is far inferior to the Buddhi Yoga, where in the Buddhi Yoga one needs to have equanimity of mind. That is, he has to perform his duties by renouncing attachment and by being even-minded. Samatvam, in the case of both success and failure, he has to be even-minded. In the same shloka, Sri Krishna also tells that kripanaha phalahetavaha. People who work for fruits of action are wretched. In other places, while explaining Buddhi Yoga, Sri Krishna tells yogastaha kuru karmani. Perform your duties like a yogi without any attachment. However, in no place the Lord ever stated that jnana is superior to action. So, what is the reason for this confusion? Perhaps Arjuna mistook Buddhi Yoga as Jnana Yoga, and he asks Krishna, if knowledge is superior to action, if that is your opinion, then why do you ask me to fight this ghastly war? Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyohamapnuyam. Vyamishrene iva vakyena. Vyamishrena, it means ambiguous, confusing. So, through words that confuse, through words that create ambiguity, me buddhi mohayasi iva. It appears that my mind is confused, my intellect is getting bewildered. Yena aham shreyaha apnumam tat ekam nishchitya vada. So, Arjuna is telling Krishna, please tell me that would decisively give me the greatest good. That path you please definitely tell me. Because of conflicting and ambiguous words, it appears that Arjuna is confused. So, therefore, he is telling that, tell me that one thing that is good for me. So, Arjuna uses the word iva at least twice in this shloka. By using this word iva, Arjuna is telling that it seems that my mind is getting confused. Not being disrespectful to Krishna. He is only telling that because of my ignorance, because of my state of mind, it seems that my mind is getting confused. So, in the second chapter, Arjuna is introduced to Sankya Yoga and then Buddhi Yoga and then Kshatriya duty from a Sankya perspective. So, while Krishna's instructions on these are very clear, to Arjuna they seem a little conflicting because of his state of mind. Sri Krishna tells Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha. That is, he tells that surrender to Buddhi Yoga in shloka 49. And because a person who follows Buddhi Yoga leaves behind Papa and Punya and he attains moksha. In the 48th shloka, Sri Krishna tells yogastaha kuru karmani. Do your duties like a yogi. In the 45th shloka, Sri Krishna tells Trigunyo bhava. Move past the three gunas, that is sattva, rajas and tamas, and be an Atmavan, be focused on Supreme. So all these instructions, it appears more like Jnana Yoga to Arjuna, while actually Sri Krishna is only talking about Buddhi Yoga. He's telling that do your duties, perform your duties like a yogi. In many shlokas, Sri Krishna tells Tasmat Yudhyasva Bharata. Therefore, Arjuna, fight. But in the 38th shloka, Sri Krishna says Tasmat Yogaya Yujyasva. Therefore, Arjuna, get ready for yoga. So, if Arjuna thinks that Buddhi Yoga and Karma Yoga are two different things, then there is definitely a conflict. But Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that with no claims on the fruits of action, with single-minded attention on the larger objective, and with samatvam, that is by being equanimous to success and defeat, like a yogi, do your karma. So this is what Buddhi Yoga is all about. So there is no conflict in what Krishna instructs, but Arjuna wants Krishna to give him just one path so that he knows for sure what he must do. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvivida Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Naga Jnana Yogena Sankyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord Krishna speaks, Anaga, O sinless. He refers to Arjuna as, O sinless person, Asmin Loke Dvivida Nishta. In this world, there are two faiths. Two faiths are practiced in this world. Maya Pura Prokta. Now, this was told earlier by me. That is the fact that there are two faiths in this world that are being practiced. This was earlier told by me. Sankyanam Jnana Yogena, Yoginam Karma Yogena. So, for Sankya yogis are people who have an inclination for philosophy, for contemplation. So, for such persons, Jnana Yoga is prescribed, and Karma Yoga is prescribed for people who follow the path of action. Since Arjuna is sinless, he is considered eligible for Brahma Vidya from the Lord himself. So, in this sloka, Sri Krishna tells that every person, according to his disposition or inclination, chooses a path which is suitable to him. A person who has interest in philosophy, who is an intellectual, who has an intellectual bent of mind, may be inclined to choose the path of Jnana Yoga. A person who is practical, who lives the life of a grihastha and he performs action, may choose the Karma Yoga. Now, both the paths, when followed with commitment, it takes a person to the same destination, that it gives them moksha. In Gita, many other yogas are also stated, but Sankya Yoga and Karma Yoga are the broad classifications, and the other yogas such as Bhakti Yoga, which are stated in Gita, can also be categorized under these two yogas. Karmana manaramban Naishkarmyam Purushošnute Nacha Sanyasana Deva Siddhim Samadhigacchati. Purushaha Karmanam Anarambat. Aramba is start. Anaramba is by not starting. So Purushaha Karmanam Anarambat. When a person does not begin to do his duties, that is by abstaining from duties, not doing his duties, Naishkarmyam na astute. A man is not free from the bondage of karma. Naishkarmyam is that mature state where a person is free from the bondage of karma. So here Krishna tells that by not doing his karma, a person does not attain the stage of Naishkarmyam. Sanyasanat eva, by mere renunciation, by becoming a sannyasi, by mere renunciation, siddhim cha na samadhigacchati. So a person does not achieve siddhi, that is perfection, by renunciation. So in this shloka, referring to Karma Yoga in the first sentence, Sri Krishna makes it clear that by abstaining or not doing one's duty, one does not achieve Yoga Nishta or a state of Naishkarmyam, a state where a man is so mature, he is in such a mature state that he is free from Karma Bandhanam, that is a bondage of karma. Now in the second chapter, Sri Krishna has clearly said that by doing one's duty with no expectation, one is free from karma bandhana. So inaction is no solution. Now in the second sentence of this shloka, Sri Krishna tells that just through renunciation, by becoming a sannyasi alone, one does not attain siddhi, one does not attain that perfect stage. So siddhi is the destination or the ultimate goal of jnana yoga, and naishkarmyam is the ultimate destination of karma yoga. So through inaction, a karma yogi does not attain naishkarmyam, and just by renunciation, by becoming a sannyasi, a Sankya yogi does not, a person who is in the path of Sankya yoga, he does not get siddhi. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krit karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jairgunaihi. He, without doubt, kaschit jatu kshanamapi akarma krit tishtati. No person can be without working. Kshanamapi, even for a second, akarma krit tishtati. No person can be without working even for a second. He sarvaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi avashaha karma karyate. Avashaha is without, helpless, in a helpless way, that is even without their will or involuntarily. So all, sarvashaha, all beings involuntarily are made to work by their qualities, that is prakriti jaihi gunaihi. According to the qualities of the nature that they have inherited, they do work involuntarily. So people tend to do some work or the other, like eating, drinking, thinking, seeing. So work is anyway done by all beings. The key is doing work without the feeling that I am the doer. People, according to their nature, that is the inborn qualities of prakriti in them, they do work. The impulses of mind compel them to do some work or the other. So a person who has an intellectual bent of mind, he reads books. A soldier fights for the country, another person does business. So according to his nature, his or her nature, people do some work or the other. The word sarvaha includes all humans and animals and birds and beings except for a jnani, because a jnani is one who transcends all the gunas. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyartan vimudhatma mityacharah sa uchyate. Yaha vimudhatma karmendriyani samyamya. Samyamya is control and indriyani senses. So yaha vimudhatma, deluded person or ignorant person. So that deluded or ignorant person who apparently controls his senses, manasa indriyartan smaranaste. In his mind, manasa, in his mind, indriyartan, he contemplates about the sense objects or the materialistic objects. Smaranaste, he is always thinking. Smaran is thinking. Saha mityacharaha uchyate. That person is called a hypocrite. So that person who outwardly controls his senses, but in his mind he still continues to think of material objects, pleasures, that person is called a hypocrite. They appear like sannyasis, but they have very low motives. So here the word samyamya, that is control, should be taken as forcefully controlling. So such a person who pretends to control his senses or forcefully control his senses, but he is thinking about materialistic objects all the time, he is a hypocrite. So this sloka tells us that controlling the mind is a key, because it's a mind which directs sense organs. When the mind still wanders, then very little control is achieved. Control of senses and control of the mind, they go hand in hand. The mind needs to be controlled first. Only then the senses can be controlled. So this is made very clear in this sloka. So in the first 6 slokas of chapter 3 that we have covered, first Arjuna asks Lord Krishna, why do you want me to engage in this ghastly battle when you advocate jnana, that is knowledge? You say that knowledge is superior to action. Further, Arjuna tells that he is bewildered with all the instructions that has been given to him, and he wants his guru, Lord Krishna, to tell him decisively the one thing that is good for him. Sri Krishna replies that 2 nishtas, that is 2 faiths, Sankya yoga and Karma yoga, have been earlier advocated by him, for two classes of men. One group of persons who have a philosophical bent of mind, and another class of persons who are inclined to action. Further, Sri Krishna also tells that a karma yogi cannot attain naishkarmya stage through inaction, and mere renunciation will not give a jnana yogi siddhi, perfection. All beings are prompted to do some work or the other according to their nature. And Sri Krishna also tells that control of senses and control of mind go hand in hand. So a person who forcefully controls his senses and outwardly appears like a sannyasi, but inwardly his mind is wandering around on material objects, is a hypocrite.